Thank you for tuning in to the Bud and Roach Show.
So,
Oh shit.
you know, I'm 33. You'll be 34. You're 33 right now, right?
34 years
You're
old.
34. You have the year. You get the year when your birthday hits, cause you're a year older than me.
So next March 11, I'll be 35.
I'll be 34 in January. How long have you had a cell phone? When'd you get your cell phone?
You really want to know? This is going to be a small segue. I promise it'll be 2 minutes tops.
It's also a part of this. It's part of this podcast.
It's a fun episode.
This is gonna be a fun one. Our first fun one in a while.
So I initially got my first cell phone because I was dating a girl that lived in New Jersey. And for the first time in my life, I was having phone sex. This is how I was getting
I've never
off.
had phone sex.
I was having legitimate phone sex.
I even thought to try phone sex.
Me, like nowadays, you know, I've written like erotica pieces. You know, you've read some of the shit that I've written, have you?
No.
You never written?
No. I wouldn't want to read erotica written by King Roach.
It's like,
I'm just going to throw that out there. I would not want to read erotica written by King Roach.
yeah. So imagine just an erotica written by me, just me saying it on the phone. The problem with that was that I was saying it on my mom's cell phone because at the time I was so young, I didn't have a phone. And I was still in high school. So my mom had this Kyocera, like one of them really...
Damn. Kyocera.
Yeah. And the shit was so old that even when it was plugged in, it wouldn't charge if you was on a call. So there was a few times that she was like climaxing and the phone would die. And it would interrupt my ability to maximize my value of what I'm putting forth. So I ended up asking my stepsister to go get me a cell phone. She got me my first phone from Sprint. She co-signed that shit. And it was one of those flip phones, very pixelated, but the call didn't drop.
So I've had a cell phone, I want to say since sophomore year of high school. My first phone was a Nokia brick phone, but with a color screen. It was when the color phones started coming in. Couldn't get any ringtones, couldn't do much on it. It was like we got added to the family plan. I didn't pay my own bill until I graduated high school. But back then, you couldn't even take your phone with you to school, so my phone was home all day.
Yeah.
I didn't have bitches hitting me up.
I didn't even know you had a fucking phone that early.
I wasn't taking it out. Even if I went to play ball, something like I'm playing ball, I can't have this on me. I'm not going to leave it sitting there on the side. So I would always leave it at home. I had the same number since 2003, 2004.
That you have right now?
Uh-huh. I've never changed my cell phone number my entire life.
You still got the same provider?
Yep. We're grandfathering. I only paid $10 for truly unlimited service because we were grandfathered in for truly unlimited data. Because when they first went to smartphones, before
Sprint,
when Sprint first went to the smartphone thing, because before I had my first smartphone, which was the HTC Evo, the first HTC Evo, I had the old school PDA MDMA that slid up and had the keyboard. That was what I had. And you didn't need a data package on that.
Yeah.
But once they went to the smartphones, when they started bringing out all the smartphones and everything, the iPhones and everything, the BlackBerries, you had to get a data package. So when I initially wanted the HTC Evo, it was hot, it was in demand, and they were on back order. But my phone I had at the time, they didn't make anymore. And I was having so many problems with it that every time I had a problem, they couldn't get me a new phone because they didn't make it new. They had to keep getting me a refurbished one. And I kept having problems with it. Yo, I had the same problem for like 2 or 3 months where every phone they sent me, I had to be extra careful with sliding the screen down after sending a text message because if it snapped too hard, it would shut the phone off.
And how's your shit right now?
Amazing, nigga. Come on. You saw how bad my old phone was before I got this phone. I treated myself to this phone for Christmas. I like I went through the phones. I had the same number, same everything. But like getting that grandfather clause, like that's why I keep telling them every time my mother complains, it's like I want to go to Metro Pizza, I want to go here. I was like, you will not have real unlimited service. Like I keep trying to explain that to my brother and sister.
Faithful, bro.
Like
there's perks to it.
There's perks, and it's like like you're not gonna get that. Like we don't get throttled, and it was like like I remember when we all got the phones because we all got the Evos, and they told us. Actually, me and my dad had the Evo. Lorenzo had the Evo. Betty had an iPhone. I can't remember what my mom had. But the guy told us, like, like this, you got to pay $10 a month. That's going to be steady, unlimited. But he's like, in a few months, it's going to go up, and they're going to start the package rates. And he's like, if you guys leave, change anything, you're going to lose this.
You ever had the walkie-talkie joint?
Yeah. I had it with Sprint. When Sprint merged with Nextel, I had it. The ReadyLink. Sprint ReadyLink. And they brought Nextel out. They brought Nextel out because they wanted that technology, but they couldn't get it to merge that technology with Nextel. So they had to keep Nextel on a separate bandwidth and have Sprint. So that's why they did away with the walkie-talkie on Sprint. Because it wasn't on Nextel and they couldn't integrate it with Nextel.
What about a Sidekick? You ever had a Sidekick?
Never had a Sidekick.
Bro, when I got Sidekick, I thought I was so boss. I was walking around, bro, just being on AOL Instant Messenger all day long.
Yo.
That shit.
I tell you like this. I dated a girl who had a Sidekick when I had a flip phone, a camera phone, camera phone. But she had a Sidekick. And texting her, bro, like having to still do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1.
You was on, what was it called? T9?
Yeah, I had T9.
T9.
Still had T9. I still had T9.
God damn,
and
bro.
She would send me text messages. I'm going to say she was a fucking headache. She was a headache, and I'd be getting banged on, bro, and I can't even respond. Like, you got to give me time. You got to give me time. Like, like, your message is coming in pieces. Then I got to piece these shits together to know what I'm reading.
You got to understand. I was in typing class in 383 in the 6th grade, bro. I was already typing 60 words a minute. I type 100 words a minute now. And even faster with my thumbs. Like, I can do that shit. So when I type, like, I type sometimes faster than I think. And I know a lot of women, like, they do that shit, too. Like,
like, shorty. Like, I be getting
fucking
bombed,
Batista,
bang,
bro.
bang, bang. Like, just, could a nigga read them first? Let me read them first and respond before you keep yelling at me through text message.
Shit.
But she was a headache and a half. Only girl I dated was a Sidekick. But the reason this podcast, geez, man, 7 some odd minutes.
8 minutes in.
Goddamn. Today was a wacky one.
I mean,
today's a bit of a wacky day.
It felt great though.
We did. It feels great. It feels great. It's a wacky one. We needed this wacky one. But the reason for this podcast was something that every adult male, adult female with a cell phone, with a social media account or anything does or has done at some point in their life. Drunk dial or drunk text someone. I've done it. I've done it in my lifetime. I'm not proud. You know what? I had friends who would know. If I called them, I have 2 friends. I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to shout them out. One's married and one's separated. They both have children now. 2 friends that knew if you saw my name come up on your cell phone pick up. Because you're going to have a fun conversation.
Don't do it.
And one of them, you know what? I'll say one of them. Is more fair because she was on the West Coast at the time. So if I'm leaving Hurley's and I'm calling her at 5 in the morning, it's 2 in the morning there. As opposed to if I'm leaving Hurley's at 5 in the morning and you work with me and you live in Queens, I'm calling you at 5 in the morning drunk to talk to you.
You know what it is? I can tell you exactly what it is about you, bro. And I think we kind of touched on this on the last podcast. You're a really good guy.
Yeah.
You really are.
I am. And you know what?
I don't think I tell you that enough.
You know what? I'm agreeing with you here, and that's the fact that I'm feeling this good. Because I don't agree I'm a great person. I don't agree I'm a good person. Because I only set the bar for myself at decent. I strive every day to at least be decent. Not be good, but decent. And that's the bare minimum. Like, that's the bare minimum I try to give people. And I tell people, when people say I'm a dick on a situation I was a dick, I need you to know the way I go into a situation is just the bare minimum is me being decent to you. If you don't make me rise to treat you decently, then I'm going to treat you condescendingly. and you're going to know that.
You know what it is? When you drink, you're an even better person. You become more generous. You become more happy. I've seen
Not
it, bro.
always. No. I need to stop you there, because there have been people that have seen the monster come out, and you're saying that. You're saying when I'm drinking and in a good mood. And that's why I also tell you this. There's been times I've come here and I'm like, nah, I can't drink when I'm not in a good mood. If I start drinking, I'm going to be in the worst mood. I've reached a point where I know if I am in a bad mood, I cannot have a drop of alcohol. I can't. A single drop. Not beer. Beer is going to get me a bit irritated and keep the feelings. Hard liquor is going to get me emotional about it. Like
hard liquor is not a good choice, bro.
Yo, hard liquor. Like, there's times where I'm just like, nah, I'm not in the mood to drink. I don't need beer or liquor today. I need to, at least not right now. Give me a little while, and then I'll reevaluate in about a half hour, 40 minutes. Right now, at this moment, I don't need drinks. I don't. And I tell people that. Like, there's times it's like, no, I'm going to go home. I don't need to drink tonight. I'm not in a good mood. Like, the last time I can say I got super duper emotional drunk, I want to say was my, I'm 33. I want to say my 29th birthday. Maybe my 30th. No. You know what? Actually, no. I spent my 30th just me and Lorenzo. So my 29th birthday. I was working real estate. I was working for MySpace. Not going good. I was having problems in the office. I had a couple deals that should have went through, not go through, because I didn't feel I had the support from back-end management. That was in the office, not all of back-end management.
Which you didn't have.
Which I didn't have. But I didn't feel I had the back-end support there. Deals that I should have had fall through. And I remember when it was a Saturday. It was my actual birthday. You know me and Betty usually have our parties together. Her birthday's a few days before mine. She was paying for everything. I was broke, had no cash. The couple dollars and few cents I had in my pocket was the cash I had. Everybody's trying to convince me to go out. Betty's like, yo, what are you doing? Like that Saturday morning, I woke up, my birthday, got dressed, went into the office, posted ads, took a few appointments, and like nothing came of it. And then people asking me, like, and then like they heard me talking on the phone, like, I really don't feel like drinking. I don't care if it's like I let it slip. Like, I don't care if it's my birthday. And somebody asked me, I was like, yeah. And it's like, why are you saying, like, it's a regular day? Like, I was playing growing up at J-Dub and everything, and then like shit ain't good.
A lot of people don't really understand that shit.
A lot of people don't understand that.
The other day when I went to your house, it was my mother's birthday, and I had to remind her. She didn't know.
It's like people, it's just, you grow up like that. It's like, I mean, like they don't understand what it is, holidays and shit like that. But you know, it happened. You just cut me off, and I lost my whole train of thought.
Nah, you was talking about
my 29th birthday.
Yeah.
Why I can't drink. The last time I got emotional drunk. So that night people thought, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. My sister's having a party. She wants me to come out. I told them her birthday was a few days before. We used to do a party, and I gotta go out. And I was like, I don't feel like partying. I'm not in a party. I'm not in a happy mood. And when I'm in a mood like this, I don't need to drink. But eventually, people at the office talked me into it. My sister hit me a few times, talked me into it. I'm like, fuck it, I'll go out. I'll have some drinks. I'll have some fun. Went out, had some drinks. I hit the point where, where I hit that level where I know I'm fucked up, and I was good. Betty and Chino left. They saw I was good. They left at like 3:30. I was going to dip with them, and Lorenzo was like, yo, just chill, hang out for a bit, stay out with me.
3:30 in the morning.
3:30 in the morning. They saw me. Good. I stayed there, closed out the spot with Lorenzo with security, waited till everything. We end up at the bar downstairs drinking. I don't know how much we had to drink. I just know, and also I'm gonna throw a may rest in peace to here. May rest in peace to Seven. One of his security guys was talking to me. They're talking about life. I'm telling him how shit's going, and he's like, yo, one thing I know about your brother, looking at your brother, I grew up in a good, your brother loved me. We were talking, even talking like I got the Lorenzo talking about the veteran shit, and they all saw me there. Nigga, I don't remember this, but I got so drunk I started crying. Like, when I'm drunk, I get emotional. Yeah. I was emotional crying about something. It was bad. Like, the way they were all making fun of me about it a few weeks later. And I honestly didn't remember it. Like, I had to just eat it. But it got bad that night. Like, not that night there, but, like, when I got home, it was rain. It's pouring down rain at this point. Leave. I get to the crib, and you know that door was busted at that time. Like, and, the wood frame was swelling, so the door wouldn't open. My key, I call upstairs, like, yo, somebody come open the door. I'm standing in the pouring rain. Nobody comes. Yo, I'm drunk. I'm blasted. Yo, I went ape shit on that door. Like, I was, 5:30 in the morning, like, banging that door like I was the police downstairs. Kicking it. But, like, trying to rip it open.
Honestly, when was this? What year?
33, 2016.
I remember my mom told me about that shit.
Nigga, I was pissed. Like, yo, this
My
door is
mom told
busted.
me
The
about
bell
that
won't
shit,
work.
bro.
The key won't work. And then what it is, and I'm telling, like, and I called upstairs. And you know what? I called upstairs, and I knew my parents, but one of you just have to get up. Whenever you guys call, one of us needs to get up and come. Somebody come up. I'm telling you, I'm standing in the pouring fucking rain. Why is no one coming downstairs? And then the fact that people in the building, I saw a door, like, you should see it's me. I saw heads poke out. Nobody went, like, I didn't give a fuck who I woke up that day. Nigga, put it like this. I woke up Rena on the other corner on the 3rd floor. She heard me. If she heard me on the other corner on the 3rd floor, everybody in the front of Wilson heard me.
Told me about that shit.
I did not care. Like, I rolled my ankle. I got into it with my parents. And it was like, like, I'm tired of this I'm tired of like, I was just at the point where life wasn't good. Life wasn't great. And I was in a terrible spot. And that was like where I said, and that was one of the, like even before that, I made up my mind, like, when I'm in a bad mood, I won't drink because I had too many nights go bad like that. And that was one of the last real nights I got fucking trashed like that in a bad mood. And I vowed never to do it again.
We was still on hiatus.
We was on hiatus.
I remember that shit.
That shit, I was fucking livid, bro.
And I remember my mom asked me why you did that. And I didn't know because I just didn't know.
Nigga, I was pissed. Like, yo, I hold the door open for niggas and that. And that's why, I won't even hold the door for. Like, you remember back in the day, I see them coming in, they got bags and shit. I help them up the stairs. I walk right past anybody in there. But if you're not Mr. Charles or the crackhead's mom, I don't help nobody in the building no more. Nobody. Because Mr. Charles is the only one who ain't never switch up on me, nigga. Everybody in that building, especially nigga underneath
second
us.
Floor?
Second floor.
Yeah.
Jamaican. Across from Summit.
Yeah.
Like, he's they're the only family he's still, hey, how you doing? Like, I put it like this. Last week I went downstairs the other day.
3N is different.
Yeah, that's what y'all were. No family.
1M is different.
1M, like, they're not bad people downstairs. 1M is not different. I fuck with them. I like that family. I like the dad. He's a cool dude. I chop it up with him all the time. He's respectful, high by, but other people in the building treat him funny style, and he sees it. And me, nigga, I've been here 33 years, nigga, so I see it. Like, the people, let's put it like this, across the hall from Ruben and them. You've known me my whole life. Why do you run in the building when I turn the corner and let the door close? But anytime I see any of you fuckers, I hold it open. I've reached the point where I'll see them coming, I won't even hold the door no more. For anybody. If I'm coming down the stairs loud, blasting music, coming in, blasting music, bro. You gonna hear my music, you gonna hear me rapping, cursing. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. Like, my cousin hit me. He said, yo, what's his name? Sister hit him. Roni's sister hit him. And was like, I don't know, I like your family, but I don't know what's wrong with your younger cousin. He's so mad, he's so bitch, let's tell the truth. Like, and I told my cousin, the window on the second floor doesn't open anymore. When the basement was flooding, when the pumps were busted, when every time it rained, that basement was flooding, it smelled like the sewer. And one day your brother wanted to bust the locks and run down there. I kept opening the windows. Yo, the people who moved into your mom's apartment, they would leave the roof door open so that shit could ventilate. Why do you guys keep coming behind me and closing this window? The building smells like an open sewer. Like, when we wake up in the morning,
that shit was like
the house smells like
too,
that. Like, yo,
and
it would get me tight. It would get me tight. Like right now, it's summertime. Because they went the whole winter, the last 2 winters behind me being dicks while the building stunk like that. And closing the window like, they fixed it. For the first time I can say, they finally fixed the heat in that building. Like, the building heats up the way it's supposed to. And you guys are complaining that this is open and you're getting a small draft under your door. That's right now,
though, because that shit always change, bro.
Nah, back in the day, it didn't. But back then, when this shit happened, the heat was fixed. Like, that shit, the radiators were working.
Then you have to go to Maritza for that shit.
But this was long. This situation happened long after that. The heat got fixed, and these fuckers kept doing this. And now, it's 90 degrees during the day, and whose window can't open because you guys are dicks. And that affects everybody in that building because the building's hot as shit. We can't leave the front door open.
That's crazy, bro.
Like, just idiots, bro. I lack patience for stupidity and idiots. And people, and I told my cousin, I told my brother.
Used to smell like sewer,
I told my cousin and my brother, when my cousin brought it up the other day, my brother asked me about it. I was like, yo, I don't give a fuck about anybody in this building. I was like, your mom's is gone. As much as I hate to admit it, fucko's mom is gone. You know what I'm saying? I stopped smoking in the building out of respect for your mom. After me and her had that talk. I remember when she told you, when we were still on air, and you were like, yo, she's gonna tell your parents. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. My dad's there. And I told you when she knocked on my door and said something, I was like, she should be having my dad in answer, because my dad would have been a lot meaner than me. Like, this is his house. This is their apartment. You don't get to sit here. I don't give a fuck what you do. You don't like the smell? I'm sorry. That's the way that goes. And that's the way it goes now with people. Yo, I don't even go back in the apartment now when other people come by. I do not. I stay right there.
Or you got that potent ass spray that you have too.
I don't even use the spray anymore. Past it. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
It's 2020, bro.
I'm past giving a fuck, man. This started about drunk dialing, and it just happened to be like about getting drunk. Like I'm sorry, this whole went off the rails. But it started about drunk texting. We're gonna get back to that. This went way off the rails, like 21 minutes. I mean, sorry tonight, guys. These topics, both of these podcasts are gonna be off the rails part 1, off the rails part 2.
Facts.
And I think we should just keep an off the rails series for when these podcasts go rambling off the rails like that and keep track.
Because it takes days like these, man. I think this was a necessary day. Was a day to escape this shit that we've been talking about for so long. That this shit's just like, feel like I'm back to 2012.
Yeah. But I had 2 female friends who, like, every time picked up, great conversations, would make sure I was home. I wasn't gonna do anything stupid.
I feel like now, even now, I'm not gonna say now, but I'm gonna say even now, because even back then too. But even worse now. I have this thing where if I call you after the sun comes down, then you're gonna get a speech like fucking Pacino in that fucking movie. What was the name of that movie? Any Given Sunday. Like, I just have this thing inside me that I just have to fucking, I gotta tell people shit. Like, I learned all this shit, and I'm just sitting here with a microphone to this dude taking a leak, and I hear that shit clear. And I don't care, because it's our podcast. That's the great thing about, like, technology. It's caught up with our ambitions. So the simple fact that I could, that shit recorded loud. But the simple fact that we can have beers and, chill out, smoke a little bit,
talk, smoke a little bit,
and then call someone across the country right now and say, yo, let's do something. Let's do this. When I have too much to drink, those are the calls that I'm making. People fear my phone calls because they don't want to hear what I have to say.
Nah, I don't want to say people. You know what? No, I don't want to say anyone ever feared my phone calls. But there was a time, I was going to say Falco got it, man. When he would be going away on trips, if he told me, like, he always takes early morning flights, and back at my old schedule, my old job would be the end of my shift. Yo, there was so many times, like, when I knew this nigga was flying away, like, I hit him up, like, knowing he was on his way to the airport, like, fucking trashed. I mean, plastered. And this nigga will hit me up, like, and be like, yo, do you remember talking to me last night? I was like, a little bit.
You remember when we left, what was it, Hurley's?
Yeah.
And I did the
Joker
out the car.
Man, we've left Hurley's and so much shit has happened, man. I remember, man, like, there are just so many nights. I'll tell you a drunk down night. The night I got into the accident on Bushwick Ave. I was young. I was like 21. I was 21, 22 tops. No, I was 21 because by 22 I was dating Janae. I was 21.
It's sad that like 21 is like, yo, that's way back in the day.
But I was looking at like I was working both jobs. I was working like Monday through Friday Toys R Us, Saturday Sunday D&B. And it was a Friday night. I didn't have to be into D&B till 7 the next night when I got some drinks with TRU crew. And I was in the cab and I'm talking to a friend that I knew, and she went to school in Arizona. And we're talking, chopping it up, and I'm leaning on the passenger side in the back seat on the window, and like leaning with all my weight made my arm uncomfortable. So I shifted to the other side of the car, waiting on the other side. Less than 60 seconds later, wham! I told you that car accident when the dude was the guy ran through the light and hit us.
So if you didn't move your arm,
nigga, if I didn't move, nigga, God knows, nigga, I'd be a fucking vegetable probably. I was leaning on that side, and that door came in where my head came in. So I would have been hit with that car in my head had I not moved 60 seconds early.
You know, something very similar happened to me, but I'm gonna wait till you're done.
The craziest shit that night was everything that happened that night. Like, we were at Taco. We left that night. Not a wild night, regular night, not the whole
karaoke?
crew. Yeah, I did karaoke. I always did karaoke, man. I won't say I was a karaoke legend there, but
we did some Linkin Park.
Nah, man, BBD, Velvet DeVoe. That girl is poison. Poison. Never trust a big money smile. It's my shit right there, nigga.
Hey, shit.
But we had some fun. I remember
Karaoke.
I walked my boss and his significant other at the time to the cab. They walked with me. They were going up to the Heights. They lived in Heights. Other boy was driving home. He lived in Jersey. I got in the cab. I was like, yo, let me put you guys in the cab, because my boss got drunk. He could sometimes be a little hysterical, but they were cool. He's like, nah, you take the first one. The next one's coming now. I get in the first cab, and then I'm like going, and then I get a call like, yo, Zoe, I just got in a fight. Like, what? He's like, yo, like, my boss's significant other, his husband at the time, calling me, telling me what's going on. I'm like, what the fuck you mean? He's like, yo, I left some fucking, he's like, some drunk Polak calling me Eric faggots and all this. And I was like, call me faggot again. And he said it, and I punched him in his mouth and got into it in front of cab stand. Like, nigga, I just left. Like, I just left. Where'd they even come from? And he's like, I don't know. But he's like, yo, I fucked him up. I was like, shit, man. And like, he telling me that. I'm like, yo, you good? You in the cab? And he's like, yeah, me and Eric in the cab. Eric a little crazy, but we got. I'm like, all right, man, let me know you home. So, boom, I'm on the phone. All right, my shit happens. Lorenzo hit me up like, yo, where are you? I'm home. Lorenzo beat me home from work that night. That's how crazy that shit was. And when I told him what was up, he was like, you all right? I was like, yeah. He's like, you want me to tell mommy? I was like, hell no, nigga. Don't tell her. Nigga, she found out I'm in the car. Nigga, I'm in the cabin. I was in the car. Nigga, I'm gonna go out again. Shit. I was in the cabin in the car accident. But when I got home, I told him what happened. My brother covered for me. And it was just, yo, like, that was always one of the nights that stuck with me. It's like, yo, like, that 60 to 90 seconds where I was highly uncomfortable. I was a little drunk and shifted to the other side of the fucking back of the cab. Nigga, quite possibly saved my life.
I got two quick stories. The first one, I was in the car with someone as a passenger. This girl that I was dating who lived, like, Middletown, New York. Like, you're way up there, so you don't really feel comfortable driving in the city, and you make it vocal that you don't feel comfortable driving in the city. So not only do you make a sharp right turn from the middle lane, but you do it on a block that doesn't even have a place to go in, like it's a park. Yo, I was in the fucking passenger seat, and as soon as she turned, the cab just hit us, and the car nearly tipped over. So now we're just elevated in the air. And I'm looking down at her, and I'm yelling at everybody in the car, making sure everybody's safe, but telling everybody shut the fuck up until this shit actually backs up and we can fucking get out of the car. That was like, to me, it's kind of like New York City etiquette. If you're gonna drive, if you're gonna take that risk, know how to do it. The last thing you want to do is jam up a New York City avenue with your shenanigans from upstate. The second thing that I want to say, what was the story you was just talking about?
When I get my cab, when I was in the cab and got hit.
No, the one that you was talking about after that. Actually, in between that.
Oh, with Eric and when they got into the fight. Well, actually, I didn't even say the last part of that shit. The last part of that night that happened was with third friend Eric and Jamar got into the fight there. I got into the accident. P, not my girl P, but Anthony. No, I'm not gonna say his whole name, but my boy P. I almost dropped his last name.
Yeah, I saw that.
My boy P. It's the booze. It's like that's all substances. My boy P that night, he drove home. He wasn't drinking heavy. He had a couple beers. He got pulled over. Almost called a DUI. They let him go because he said I had 2 beers and asked him, "You really had 2 beers?" He said, "Yeah," and they let him go. They got stopped at a checkpoint. If they would have, but he had way more than 2 beers. But if they pulled him out, he probably would have failed the sobriety test. Like I was just like, wow.
You ever had to take one?
Nigga, I don't drive.
This is true.
Nigga, if they make me take one walking, nigga, definitely I'm gonna fail, nigga. But I don't drive, so no, I've never had to take a field sobriety test. You know what's crazy?
You ever had to take a weed test for a job?
How many? Nigga, you know what's crazy? The worst one I had, the worst job I settled with the weed shit for, and it was I told you the job before I got this job when I applied at Barclays Center, and they accepted me, did everything, and did the final. I had to come back for orientation, and in between orientation, but in between my final interview and orientation, I had to go get a drug test. And they said that they were tested for it, and I didn't see weed on the list.
What was the test, though? Was it blood test?
Piss test. So
for Frito-Lay, they shaved my leg.
You told me. Like, I'm like, yo.
And it was unforgiving, bro. It wasn't even like in an inconspicuous place. That shit was a fucking stripe right, like straight down the middle.
Like when they took it, like when it happened, like I knew I had to do the drug test. I was like, all right, I'm a little worried. I hit my brother up. Lorenzo was on probation for a while. Yeah. And this nigga, I remember this was before I used to burn, and I have a friend who had to take this advice from Lorenzo to get his union job. And Lorenzo used to take cranberry pills and niacin pills.
Oh yeah.
And drink a lot of water.
A hard flush right there.
And a hard flush, bro. I did that shit for like 4 days, but I kept burning. Like Lorenzo would do this.
Actively,
not actively, but he would do this the day before needing to go to probation and log in, do his piss test and everything, and he would cranberry pills and niacin and everything. Never once popped dirty. So I'm like, all right, that should work for me. Got the cranberry pills, niacin, niggas. 10 years later, they had to up the formulas. I'm good. Doing it like he said, taking 2 and 2, drinking water, drinking a lot of water, pissing like crazy. Did it. Thinking I'm good. Like, I got the email, like said I was good, told me come in for orientation this day. They said if you didn't pass your drug test, you wouldn't get an email about orientation. So I'm like, all right, I'm going in. Go there, get there. They're asking for names. I'm giving my name. We don't have you on the list. Show them the email. He's like, go to the lady, and she's looking at the list. She's like, you can't pass on a failed drug test. I'm like, I got the thing. You guys saying I did it. What did I fail on it? She's like, I don't know. You have to call them, but you're not getting the job. Now, not only am I upset that, hey, I woke up, I'm early, I'm here, everything going on. When I called them,
you suited up?
Huh?
Suited up?
Not suited up. I wore nice pants, button-up shirt, and a blazer.
Sharp.
Like I didn't like nice jean pants, chinos. Like I didn't wear a whole suit. Like you know when the nigga has to put on jeans and a blazer.
Casual, but
I'm one
classy.
of the best at doing it. Yeah. And when I when I saw everything, when I got the number, I called them up. Like they read it off, like everything they tested for, like marijuana still wasn't on it. I'm like,
so what the fuck came up?
Like they wouldn't say. They said I tested positive for marijuana, but it's like they're like for barbiturates, for like heroin, cocaine, like amphetamines, like all sorts of shit. And it's like, I don't even like taking aspirin.
That's what happens when you start smoking with Wayne Brady, bro. Just positive.
Yo, I don't even like taking the aspirin. So when I saw that, when I popped dirty on that shit, I was so upset.
Can't even eat fucking poppy seed bagels, bro.
Nah, that's a myth. That's a myth. I've read someone, they say that you would have to eat your body weight in poppy seeds for poppy seeds to come up as opium.
Seinfeld got me.
Yeah.
Seinfeld got
A lot
me
of
on
they
that
said a
one.
lot of shows in the 90s and 80s did that and made people believe that, but it's not real.
I stayed away from poppy seed bagels my entire life because of that shit. That just goes to show the easy indoctrination of people who don't have the fucking information.
There are people who believe marijuana is a gateway drug still, despite the fact that it
Shit.
shows you that it can help you get off other drugs. So, I mean, it just shows
Christ.
indoctrination, propaganda, how far it goes. But the one thing I will always say, man, is from my mid to late 20s, I think drunk dialing was one of the better ways I was able to talk to some of my friends, because like they knew I was drunk, like I wasn't lying. Especially it was my female friends, especially about like relationship shit going on in my
There
life.
was the cat right now.
No, my bad. I actually think I might have locked her in the bathroom. She came in while I was peeing. I closed the door. She might be in the tub. You said that just reminded me. So,
I'm sure there's people, there's got to be people in other countries, other places. Like, we have fucking listeners all over the goddamn world, bro.
so like, what the fuck is wrong?
They
with
just
you?
be listening to us like, these motherfuckers is crazy, bro. But goddamn it, that's what you get here at BudandRoach.com, man. Jesus. I got to make sure that cat's all right.
So drunk dialing, man. Like my friends who I drunked out, the female friends who I drunked out. Some of the great conversations I had with them, and now
Sometimes
that
you have to get twisted in order, you got to get some shit out that normally it
wasn't even getting shit out, but it was just that they knew what I'd gone through. They knew the stress of my work more than that. They knew that one of the biggest stresses for me drinking like that was work. Not even relationships or life, but was work. So they knew I was drinking like that, but then you add life, relationships, friends on top of that. They were both open ears for me, and I thank them both very dearly because I still care for them very dearly. One of them, I know I have to do some groveling to get back in her good graces. I owe her immensely. She's a great friend. She's still very pissed at me, just because I sort of fell off the face of the earth when I went through my therapy, my depression shit, and like she holds me to that. She's like, you just stop calling me. I'm one of your best friends, and you just stop calling me. And I told her, I have
give her a shout out.
I have no justification for that. Oh, Sierra, she knows. Sierra Parker, man. Like she knows Miss Parker,
out, bro.
Cece. She knows who she is, and Miss Janowski for that too, Mandy Janowski. Like I always make fun of Mandy. I tell her she's from rural West Virginia. She's from a place in Virginia. I think it's called Rural Tree. And I used to always make fun of rural West Virginia.
Rural Tree.
Yeah, I used to always drive up the wall and say rural West Virginia and drive up the fucking wall. Like I have that relationship still with them, man. And like I still think about them all the time. Still, both of them are moms. Both of them were married. Well, one's separated.
Some of the not to cut you off, but some of the best conversations that even we've had were under the influence.
Yeah, good conversations happen under the influence, man. I've had some of the better conversations with my mom under the influence after I started smoking.
The podcast that we've done
Under the influence.
all the fucking I could pull
All
up
those
the
talks
fucking
with
folder
Nikki and shit.
with all the MP3s of 3-hour episodes and just I could keep scrolling and all that shit. For the most part, we was popping bottles in that basement, bro. Like we had like our own little crowd there, like a live studio
audience while we were doing it, man. We were ahead of our time at starting this, and then now everybody's in the game. You have TV shows that went off air. People talking about we have followings, and I think it's a little unfair with that. But when I say we opened this Lane Avenue podcast wise like that, I don't feel like I'm exaggerating. I don't feel like I'm overstating our position in the beginning of
especially, honestly, in Bushwick,
man.
bro.
Nobody else in Bushwick was doing this when we started.
When we started this shit, we were the premier. We hit the streets with those stickers. Them shits was everywhere. We had them shits in delis. We had them shits in trains. We had them shits on poles. We had them shits on construction sites.
Had them everywhere, bro. We still have the one in the 2-4 store on Bleecker. We still have the one on 48th and 8th up the block from Hurley's in Green in the Green Apple. Green Emporium or Green Apple? I want to say Green Emporium.
My whole thing is just like, and I want to close with this. This is my final thought. Then it's all on you. Drunk dialing has been a gift and a curse for me, because for someone like me who's a natural introvert, I don't normally just reach out to people. I don't normally just send messages. It's part of my daily routine to at least catch a buzz enough to interact with the people that I need to interact with, because I could just sit here alone and watch wrestling all day long and not speak to nobody, bro. So that's my problem. That's what I deal with. The flip side to that is that a lot of the people who get the brunt, is that the word, of that phone call, it's always mixed reviews. And for the most part, I do come off strong to a lot of people. I do come off like an asshole.
That's why when I would drunk dial, there were only, like I said, 2 people who in particular got people who knew me through and through, knew my personality, knew what person I was, and they could tell. The only person who I think, other than those 2 at that time, who could tell by my voice, if they weren't family, were those 2. Who could tell by my voice the type of mood I was in with those 2 women. And just because of our friendship, they've been around me for years. They knew what I dealt with at work, and they knew the stressors in my life. And
I've seen you under extreme pressure, though. And I will say this. I've seen happy Zoe, and I've seen angry Zoe, even through the transition of getting drunk. But it was always Zoe. When people speak to me and I'm sober, they getting Alex. You already know that transition. That's something that's out of body. That's an out of body experience.
When Poppy shows up
every fucking day, bro.
When Poppy gets there,
it's just like, take control of the wheel, bro.
Take the wheel.
That's a whole other podcast. But I mean, it is what it is, man.
I mean, I think you closed out good there. When I would dunk dial, I wouldn't just drunk dial anyone. I had a list, not a list, 2 friends, 2 great friends, who were usually the 2. If they didn't pick up, I usually just, smoke or keep drinking by myself. But those times, the conversations I got to have with those 2 women during that time were always matter to me, always mean the most.
It is locked in there.
Yeah, I locked it in by accident. It wasn't on purpose. She came in while I was peeing, and then she climbed into the tub. I saw her doing it, but then I came to get back on the podcast. My bad. No, it's not, man. She's behind the door. She alright, man. Ain't no dogs trying to kill her. Michael Vick ain't here. She be alright. And it was just having those 2 to be able to call during those times will always be special to me. Our friendships mean a lot to me. I knew I have some groveling to do that I need to start, and I'm actually going to start tomorrow. Because last time I spoke to her, she said my number ain't changing and ain't gonna. So I definitely owe her an apology.
That's the dig right there.
I definitely do, because she still talks to my brother a lot. But she still hits me every once in a while. We just don't talk as much as we used to. But also, she didn't have kids before, and she wasn't married. So, I mean, it's also that happens. But I also I have to accept that I was the person who, in our friendship, drifted away, and not you. And I have to own up to that. But I appreciate the friendship that I still have with those 2 ladies. I see their lives through Facebook. They're both doing great. Both of their families doing good.
It's crazy that's like a saying now. Try going back 50 years and saying that shit to somebody.
When you lose contact with somebody, you lose contact with them back then. But it's just
people writing letters to each other on fucking.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful that we at least got to have those conversations, because those are conversations that at some point later down the line, if we're still friends, will come back up again, man. But you learn what to appreciate from people, man. And with that, man, I think, we already know what these two podcasts are gonna be. They're gonna be
It's just like,
completely off the rails episode 1, completely off the rails episode 2. But I just want to thank you guys for listening in, bearing with us, man, and being with us through us getting back to basics right now, and keeping it simple through everything we've had to do over the last couple of weeks in this nation.
And just appreciating the fact that shit is at least stabilizing some way. It's
we can't even say going back to normal. We'll say stabilizing. We don't know what normal is going to be in regards to the pandemic or the situation across this country right now, as far as it goes with the protests and anything. So we have no idea what normal is going to be when we come out of this, but at least, like you said, this situation is stabilizing. So with that, you guys know where you get everything Bud and Roach related over at budandroach.com.
And you can follow us at Bud and Roach on Instagram.
Because we do the fucking, you heard?
Thank you for tuning in to the Bud and Roach Show.